Pandora, Pandora, Pandora. Yet another story about a woman dooming all of humanity with her curiosity. Yeah, does that sound familiar? Seems to pop up an awful lot in mythologies of all kinds, and it's always a woman, or almost always, a lot of the time. So the story of Pandora is that she was created by the gods. This was shortly after Prometheus had stolen fire from the gods for humanity, and he was duly punished for doing that. But Pandora is kind of created in retribution for that. So she's sent down to Earth as yet again the most beautiful woman, and she is blessed with many different virtues and characteristics by the gods, including curiosity, which I believe was given to her by Hera. So, she's also given a box by Zeus when she's sent down to Earth, and she's also told not to open the box. She can have the box, but she can never know what is inside it, and she can never open it. Of course, Pandora does open the box. That's kind of the point and the whole sort of story of humankind, if you like. And in doing so, she releases all the horrors into the world, so despair and famine and poverty and sickness and all the things that plague humanity. And this spreads very quickly throughout the world, and Pandora is appropriately saddened by and distressed by what she's unleashed upon the world. And but when she opened the box, she opened it and closed it as quickly as she could. So after a period of time when everything seems lost, she opens the box again, and the last thing that was left in the box is released. And the last thing in the box was hope, which of course is there for humanity to be able to survive, basically, and give humanity a reason to continue. So in this case, Pandora really is a pawn of the gods. She is there to punish humanity, really, because of Prometheus's role in, well, Prometheus's gift of fire to humanity, and the gods are taking their revenge through Pandora. So one could argue that it's not Pandora's fault at all. It's the fault of the gods for setting her up in such an awful way. But somehow that's never quite how the story is told. It's always sort of Pandora, the woman who dooms humanity. She's like a precursor to Eve, and yes, it's not a narrative I'm particularly fond of, as you can probably tell from my tone of voice. It always seems to be women who unleash the horrors on humanity, which seems a little unfair given the amount of power women are generally were given in history and are still given or not given today. So yeah, it's an interesting commentary on how women have been perceived throughout time. But yeah, the piece itself is I have mixed feelings about this one. I kind of like it in some ways, but I'm not. It's certainly not my favourite. I'm not super pleased with how her face turned out, which we'll see shortly when I do a zoom in. I do quite like all the little details. Certainly all that gold really helped. And with this fire down the bottom, it was kind of meant to be a sense of foreboding or doom about what she's about to do, because this is in the moment just before she opens the box. And so that was I guess like the fires of hell or the fires of the underworld, as more of a symbolic thing than anything else. And I added a few extra details in there. I think I went in, hopefully I've got this on film, but I went in and added a little bit more colour to the box just to give it a bit more oomph. Oh, and here I gave the flames a little bit more depth by adding some different blues in there. I'm not sure how big a fan I am of this blue. It's a bit bright and saturated for my liking. I think maybe that's my problem with it. And this was the same issue I had with the first one I did, which was Artemis. So maybe it's more to do with the colour choice, why I don't especially love this one. But that's okay, you know, we learn, and that's kind of the point of all of this. Oh yes, and I went in and added a bit more detail to her hair, which I also think helped. Maybe part of the problem is there's all this white space around it, around the drawing, so you have, well, in this case it's black, but white space is what we call it in the design world. Just means blank space. So it's not as patterned all over like some of the other ones, but that's okay. Yeah, so that's Pandora in all her glory. I do quite like how the flames turned out and how the flames kind of go into her dress. You know, they've got the same kinds of lines and dots happening, and it complements it quite well. So that was day 22 of Inktober. Tomorrow's prompt is Medea, which I'm very excited about. Both I'm excited about the drawing itself and talking a little bit about the story behind it. So I will see you then. Please subscribe if you're not already, and I've got a whole playlist of these Inktober videos if you want to go back and see what I've done previously. Alright, I will see you tomorrow. Bye!